I like took myself to a psych ward. I thought that was going to help, and it didn't. I was just there for 7 days. My brother and his friend were playing with a gun, and the gun went off and his friend in the head. So we went downstairs, and I guess we checked on him. I don't know. I blacked out when that happened. So afterwards, I started developing schizophrenia.
What?
Trauma-induced schizophrenia, but I never got any help because my mom was too focused on her own grief of letting her 15-year-old go to jail for for murder.
The comedy scene can be a very difficult industry to navigate for women, with consistent accusations of misogyny and even flat-out abuse. But my guest today has not let any of that scare her. In fact, I would say there's probably a few comics that are scared of you. Jessica Misitano. Hey, how's it going?
I think we could use more misogyny.
You want more?
Yeah, I think we could just go full effect, swinging on women again. Bring back the 50s.
Let's take it back to the 1950s.
You're not
when gender wasn't a social construct. You know what I mean? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, it is kind of crazy right now for women in comedy.
Yeah.
I thought we got past a lot of it, but then I see stuff happen here in Austin, in the Austin comedy scene, where I'm just like, whoa, that seems kind of old-fashioned, what we're doing right now.
Oh, why don't you do tell?
Dude, it's just like I see women that there's almost an expectation. Like, if I'm going to give you a spot, you're going to, you know what I mean? It happened to a friend of mine just the other day, where it was like, I thought this person was my friend. I thought they were booking me because I was funny. Turns out they just want to sleep with me. And I mean, I guess it's kind of an advantage for y'all as women, right? Like, I would definitely say y'all get some unique opportunities that, you know, me as a man might not get. But it comes with these strings attached for y'all. And I didn't think we were doing that anymore.
You would really hope that that's not the case, but there's some underlying expectations that are always there, and you're always like,
Yeah.
The older I get, the less that I feel like it's a thing for me, which, thank God. You know what I mean? I'm so glad I'm on the way out, to be honest with you.
Thank God I'm undesirable now.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, all these women are like, I get cornered in a bar. I'm like, oh, no. Yeah, me too. Like,
that's not entirely true, though. And I do want to talk about this a little bit, because I have seen you get stalked on social media. It is crazy. And some of your fans have come after me. I'm just like, what? Why am I being attacked right now? I feel like
they protect the shit out of me.
They really do, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, you still get weirdos.
Oh yeah.
So you're not above it. You're not.
What do you mean?
You're not.
Safe.
You're not safe, Josh.
Did you lock the door?
Yeah, you could still get attacked. You know.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So I just think it's kind of crazy that I'm not a woman, allegedly.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that y'all are still like kind of having to deal with some of this stuff.
Yeah. It's really crazy, and you see there's a cycle of women that are just coming into this from something else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help perpetuate the expectation from female comics with expecting us to be sexual or having OnlyFans and the thing is, I don't have an issue that people do that, but it's kind of selfish to not acknowledge that it is an issue for other women that are just trying to be booked based on merit.
Yeah.
And not with anything
just
else.
Because they're funny and can crush audiences.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I want to be known for.
Right.
That's it. I don't want people to snicker behind my back and tell me why I didn't deserve it because I worked my dick off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally, you don't have one anymore.
Not anymore. I got rid of it.
Yeah.
I gave it a Juanita, dude.
What has it been like coming down to Austin? I mean, was it similar when you were up in Chicago? Because that's where you started, right?
Yeah.
Up in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, do you find that you're getting more opportunities here in Austin? Fewer? I mean, is it as toxic in Austin as everyone says?
Is Austin toxic? Austin is toxic on a different level. Chicago is very toxic, and they're on their bullshit. So I will say that I feel like I get to start fresh here.
Okay.
I feel like I'm looked at more fairly here,
Yeah.
almost. Maybe a little unfairly because certain people have advantages and it's not based on comedic ability, and we all know that.
Yeah, there's a good old boys club, right?
Yeah, there's a good old boys club. And
Yeah.
it's always going to be there. And it's
Sure.
like there almost has to be. It has to be for the ecosystem because people need to try harder
Yeah.
and write smarter and perform better.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that you create exclusivity, people want to be in it. They
Yeah.
don't give a fuck like who's in the club. They just they're bothered by the fact that they're not allowed in it.
Yeah.
And what do I got to do to get in there?
Oh, it bothers the hell out of me that I have not been passed at the Comedy Mothership, even though I know realistically it probably wouldn't do anything massive for my career.
Yeah.
It's just the merit of it.
It's just
right?
the merit of it. And I guess if that's important to people, but I feel like I want to be surrounded by people that I actually admire. So why do I want to be around a bunch of people I don't listen to or particularly care about? You know what I mean? I know it's an accolade for some people. I'm like, who fucking says? Did you ever listen to one of his albums?
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, I've had some comics here in Austin say the same thing. Like, dude, why do you care?
Yeah.
Why is it you're traveling all over the country, doing theater shows and all this other fun stuff that a lot of other people never get to try. So why do you care that much? I don't know. It's just, but it's the exclusivity of it where it's just like, let me in, you know?
Exactly. And that's completely fine. And it's fine. Some people like that comedy, and there's all these like little things around here. But the interesting thing I think about, while it is 100% more challenging, I think comics that are 20 years in have had it so much easier. In a sense, it's easier to get recognition, but the workload is like 150% more now.
Well, yeah, because you're not just writing and performing, you're also having to manage your social media. You're having to think of content, sketches that you can do. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's a lot. Because like first of all, I live in my car, right?
Do you really?
Yeah. I sleep in my front seat and that hurts. So I wake up in the morning and I work 9 to 5.
Wait, I thought you were roommates with Uncle Laser.
I used to, and then I moved out.
So you could live in your car?
Yeah.
Why?
Part of it was to like save. There's this weird thing that I feel, and I feel it every few years, is I get this weird sense of overwhelming responsibility, and I abandon everything so I don't have to feel that at all.
Huh.
And
do you have kids or anything?
No.
Where does it come from? I mean, obviously you're a comic, so you have trauma, but
it's just like living. I was living with like 4 people in a house, and it was just like I was getting I know when I get annoyed by someone dirtying the stove, okay, this is too much. If I'm getting overwhelmed by that, like I'm usually pretty chill about stuff, but when things pile on, I can't focus creatively, and I'll start bombing on stage. I'll stop writing. I won't want to create. So there was like 2 or 3 weeks where I didn't post shit, and I'm like, this can't be a thing. Yeah. This can't be a thing here. I did not move here to do this. So I was like, yeah, I'm moving out in 2 weeks. So you can just keep it.
And living in my car. Where do you shower?
Planet Fitness, or I'll,
nice.
One like the nice thing that I like about here is people in Austin are like so like happy to like lend a hand, or like, hey, if you need a place to stay or you need a shower, if you ever like need anybody, you can come over, which is nice. And I've done that a few times. You know, I've still staying out here, but like I have to live in my car, and I can't, or like live like with no anything. I don't want anyone asking anything of me. I don't want to vacuum a carpet. I don't want to worry about if my lights are going to be on when I get home. I can't have that stress on me right now.
That's so crazy. So one of my buddies was kind of the same way. Yeah. Where he had the money to get his own place. Yeah. That wasn't the issue. He just preferred living in his car. And yeah, he would crash on sofas every now and then. Yeah. But for the most part, he was just living in his car full time. And that's what how long have you been in your car?
About like the last month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. I honestly couldn't imagine that. I know a lot of the open micers that moved to Austin did that out of necessity, but this is a choice for you.
I'm a white woman.
What's that mean?
I need to create my own problems. I need something.
You have to create a struggle for yourself. I'm homeless. I live in my car. Yeah. It's like you wanted that.
Yeah, I'm not above crying on camera for attention right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that work?
No, I've never done it.
Okay.
No. No. You know, like I can't even expect people to really empathize for me when I post a picture of like an Asian meme. You know what I mean? I post
that. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, when you're posting the most problematic I've ever seen, and then try to get the crocodile tears going. Yeah, that's a really good point.
What did I post today? That was hilarious, dude. And
please don't say it, because we'll get flagged.
Oh, dude, I could use code words.
Okay, there we go. Was it the Hebrew thing?
No. It's the Middle Eastern woman when she's a 10, 9,
Oh,
8,
good Lord.
7, 6. Oh, all day, dude. Follow me, man.
We love we love our Arab friends. Okay. Yeah. So you've been doing this for a month
Yeah.
by choice,
Yes.
and I mean you're an accomplished person.
Yeah.
I mean it's all. Do you think maybe you're just having like a manic episode?
I've thought about this,
Okay.
and I don't think so. But because I've been taking vitamins and I've been drinking less, and I've been like eating quinoa.
I've been taking beef organs, and I can't tell you how well that's working.
Yeah, exactly. Like I take L-theanine. You know, I spent $50 on vitamins the other day, and that
nice.
was nice. Yeah, I'm on all these like
Yeah.
vitamins right now.
You have a health routine while living in your car.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, dude.
You realize that, right?
Yeah, I'm counting my macros, and life is good, dude.
Got my whole skin routine going.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're a minimalist.
I don't have a choice right now.
I mean,
I got kicked out of a parking lot last night. It was pretty cool. It was the first. I've never had that happen. It felt so. I was like, fine, I'll leave. You know?
you can't sleep here, ma'am.
Yeah.
What parking lot was it?
It was in, I don't know. I usually stay outside of a Planet Fitness because where like a shower is, and then I'll like work out in the morning before I leave to work. It was some I don't know. It was some Planet Fitness where there's a Goodwill and Adidas discounts. Oh, over there on Riverside, that Planet Fitness in Riverside, those douchebags.
They wouldn't let you just sleep in the parking lot?
No,
You're not hurting anyone.
No, that's what I said.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about all the trauma that led up to
I'm glad you asked.
an adult woman who does very well for herself.
Yeah.
Sleeping in her car now.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did it start? Like, I mean, I was homeschooled. I grew up in a cult. You know, I went through that whole right? And that's where a lot of my behavioral issues come from, I would say.
Okay.
What happened to you?
Okay, so I mean, when I was a little kid, my brother and his friend were playing with a gun, and the gun went off and it shot his friend in the head. So we went downstairs, and I guess we checked on him. I don't know. I blacked out when that happened. So afterwards, I started developing schizophrenia,
What?
trauma-induced schizophrenia. But I never got any help because my mom was too focused on her own grief of letting her 15-year-old go to jail for for murder. And then after her mom died, she shut down, so she was out of it. And then we moved to California, and to act like that didn't happen. We just pretended like nothing happened. We just moved, but my mom changed, and it was weird. And I started seeing shit. And I was talking to myself.
What?
And yeah, so I had this lady that would come in there. I didn't realize until now that she was a child therapist, like a PTSD therapist.
Okay.
Give me evaluations and stuff. But for the most part, it was kind of ignored. I didn't really see a therapist. So I was probably 32.
32 before you got any kind of help?
Mm-hmm. And that was because of myself. I'm like, oh, I really do need help. Because then I realized I had all these issues that I was kind of pushing down. I'm like, because I was a very avoidant person. I don't give a fuck. I would drop people and brag about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought it was whatever, dude.
Disassociative.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
disassociative, dude.
Mhm.
And I deal with it I deal with it now, but most of the time it's when I'm on stage.
Okay.
Or when I have too much responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I have too much responsibility, I'll just disassociate. I'll go on autopilot and I will start bombing on stage. I'll disassociate when I'm on stage. I'll bomb my ass off, and it's because I'll stand there and I just won't feel like I'm myself. And I feel like I'm observing myself telling comedy, and I feel like a f***ing dork.
Yeah.
I'm not oh, I'm a comedian. I feel like you're a f***ing dork.
You're a
dork.
fraud. It's almost like a imposter syndrome
Yeah,
type
go
situation.
to therapy, you weirdo. You're telling everybody your uncle molested you. He didn't, and you're just telling people he did.
What? I thought that was real.
No, it wasn't. I just be saying, dude.
Your poor uncle, dude. Is he still with us?
Yeah,
Oh
dude,
my
he
God,
I
dude.
made a status about it. He goes, hey, what the f***?
Wait, do you have multiple uncles, or is it just
The
him?
rest are all dead. They were the
Okay.
child in the family, but they're all dead now.
Okay.
They didn't molest me.
Dude,
It
so
made me
wait.
feel bad.
Trauma-induced schizophrenia?
Yeah, that's a thing. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I had no idea. How long did that last?
It's still dealing with it. I think I am, but I also feel like a lot of things are overdiagnosed. I feel like people
Sure.
I feel like a lot of mental health is people convincing themselves they have something wrong with them. So what I do is I just don't focus on it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the self conversations have really slowed down. A lot of my things that like would set me off would slow me down, or would like have slowed down. So I've got a better handle on things because I've become more aware of it.
Okay.
And when I first started going to therapy, they diagnosed me with borderline. And when
good old BPD.
Good old BPD.
Love it.
You know, every girl that you fucking I feel like every girl you've probably dated have had it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, probably.
And the more here's the thing is the more I was like learning about it, the worse I was getting because that's all I was focusing on.
Oh, interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like I'm like listening to these.
You're like
buzzwords.
hyper focused on it.
Yeah.
And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point.
Right. So then I would be more reactive, and the guy I was seeing would be like, "You're being like this." I'm like, "Well, it's because I have borderline." Like I was just feeding it to myself, and so I was making myself worse with it.
Yeah.
So I stopped focusing. I just acknowledge, okay, this is the thing I deal with. I don't like being this way. And what do I do instead of that? And it's what you do instead of that is the hardest part of any therapy you get.
Yeah.
Because you're recalibrating your brain to react differently. I'm a very reactive person. Like I still struggle with that. When I'm mad
Well,
at
you're
a person,
Italian, so.
Yeah, I'm Italian. I'm a woman. Premenopausal probably by now.
All right. Yeah, you just got a lot of things working against you.
I know. I don't have a lot going for me. I'm living in my car, dude. Like, what do you want from me?
What are you supposed to do at this point?
I can tell you this guy offered me a crack rock last night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a homeless
Did you try
guy.
it?
No, I didn't. But he's like, I'll give you the biggest one because that's how beautiful I think you are.
Oh.
And I really think I just, that made me feel that.
And you think guys aren't flirting with you anymore.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Yeah.
You got a guy that was probably his life savings.
I don't know what it says about me for a homeless man to have the confidence to come at me like that. And that put me down. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah.
It's almost more insulting than complimentary when certain people feel like they have a shot.
Like, have you had an ugly person hit on you and you're like, how dare you?
All the time.
Wow.
All the time. Happens to me all the time.
Does it really?
Yeah. Like ex-girlfriends have been like, I bet you get so many DMs from women. It's like, yeah, but not women that have a shot. You know what I mean? It's like, well, why did you think you could slide in? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like I get a lot of DMs and I get stalked. Like, it's not somebody that I want stalking me.
Yeah, then it would be cool. Then it would be a meet cute.
Stalking.
You know?
Yeah.
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 So you did not accept his offering?
No, I didn't do crack last night.
Technically,
Tuesday.
it was a homeless man offering a homeless woman crack. So.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah.
I haven't brushed my hair in a week, and I think that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, you're a homeless lady, but you work in a salon.
Yeah.
So I get my hair washed for free. I do my laundry at work.
Okay.
Honestly, like I don't need anything. I just I got to.
It's kind of a sick setup. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got to sacrifice like a bed and like privacy and like. Yeah.
What do you do when you get changed in your car? Do you put like little curtains?
No,
Do you
I just pull my out.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna start figuring out what Planet Fitness you're staying at. Get a gander.
No,
windows are probably the best.
Yeah,
too.
dude. I
right,
open
Josh?
the door. Have a cigarette hanging out of my mouth, and I'm wiping myself down with body wipes.
Under your boobs.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's what I want. Crack rock.
Flaking on the ground. That's what I do.
Why are these guys hitting on me? This is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. No, I don't want crack. What kind of woman do you think I am?
Unreal, dude.
And then the Planet Fitness guy comes out and he's like, both of y'all get out of here.
Yeah.
That's why they kicked you out of the parking lot. It's like, ma'am, you're attracting an audience. You've got to leave.
They were all sleeping outside of my car. I have this thing.
Waiting.
I feel like I have this thing because I noticed this when I was at this park in Houston. I was trying to find a place where I could just lay in the grass and like feed squirrels, and I felt like every time I sat down, there'd be like a bunch of people that would come. And they would lay their blankets down.
I just want everyone to know that was a shock laugh. Okay, that wasn't. I didn't think that was funny.
That was an agreement laugh. If I ever saw one.
The fact that I knew what you were talking about before you even finished the word. All right. Well,
yeah.
Let me take a little swig of Monster Energy drink to really get in the mood.
You could tell the difference between the people by the colors.
Sorry?
Of their clothing.
Okay, thank you so much. So you were trying to feed squirrels and you're getting harassed?
But every time a family would plop down beside me with their fucking unruly little kids, I'd have to get up and went to a different spot. And then next thing you know, there's a bunch more of them. And I'm like, dude, I can't. We got to change the subject. I'm going to start saying stuff.
It's like you were reverse gentrifying the park. That's crazy. I don't know. Anyways, okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about the schizophrenia thing because I don't think I've ever talked in depth with someone who has been legitimately diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Yeah,
that's kind of like, do you hear voices? Do you see other people that aren't there? I mean, like, what is that?
Well, here's the thing: is it wasn't necessarily a schizophrenia diagnosis. I was showing signs of it.
Okay.
Right, and a lot of it was like hearing voices. I would see things that weren't there, but I was like a little kid, so I would see I developed like this insane fear of death, like an insane fear of death.
Wow.
To where I then developed like hypochondria. Like I would go to the hospital all the time, like constantly, any little thing. And yeah, I don't know. Nowadays, and then when I became an adult, it was more so talking to myself and things like that. But like the vision like kind of went away.
The auditory hallucinations, do you still experience that, or did that?
Oh yeah, I do that, but I feel like that's more of a borderline. I don't know. So here's the thing: I feel like all these diagnoses are all like they're interlinked because they're like, oh yeah, with borderlines, like I'll sometimes hear my name, like hear someone saying my name. I'll hear sounds, or I think someone's coming in the room. Stuff like that. That's more so what I deal with now.
Interesting. And it's kind of hard to distinguish because like that's just your reality.
Yeah.
Right?
It sounds like somebody said Jessica. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck. Like I'll hear stuff like that, and it's crazy. And then I sit there for a minute, and I'll listen to see if they say it again. And just, I don't know.
That's kind of weird. That is weird.
I'm gonna do that if I see you on 6th Street. I'm gonna pass by me like,
dude, he's fucking.
what the fuck?
I'm gonna jump in front of a train, dude.
So when I did a lot of cocaine,
yeah,
I would have the craziest auditory hallucinations,
yeah.
and it scared the shit out of me at first until I realized like, oh, I'm just really, really high.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. I would hear people whispering, people talking.
Yeah.
People calling my name.
Yeah.
Never saw anything. It was just always I could hear like from the other room, people talking, and there was no one there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's. Oh, maybe I've got it. Maybe
I've
got a little BPD.
Man, you have a little dose of empathy in your life. You could use it, dude.
I could use that. Thank you.
You could use a little empathy in your life.
Where's that crack rock guy?
But here's the thing: is I don't feel like you're completely cold. I feel like it might just be a little bit more towards romantic partners.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now we're talking about my trauma. Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, I tend to disassociate quite a bit. I legitimately thought that I was a sociopath.
Yeah.
Like it was a big fear of mine.
Yeah.
For a long time. And then I talked to a therapist and they were like, you're not a sociopath. You just disassociate because of the trauma that you went through in your childhood.
Yeah.
Like I was never like I wasn't allowed to mess up. Right. So it was basically just completely remove my emotions from any type of situation, whether positive or negative, just to get through. You know? Don't show any reaction and you're fine.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of how I always operated.
What were the repercussions if you did mess up?
I mean, like the biggest one was I got sent to a cult compound for a few months.
What is that?
And then I was locked in solitary confinement. Yeah, for a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
we've talked about this extensively on the podcast, but just for your edification, yeah, I was in the Shiny Happy People cult. And
is that what it was called?
It was called the Institute in Basic Life Principles, but it was popularized with the Amazon Prime documentary Shiny Happy People.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how a lot of people know it.
Yeah.
It's the same cult that the Duggars, 19 Kids and Counting people were in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So I was in that for a lot of my young childhood into like early adulthood. I was in it until I was 18, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you break away?
I just left. I was just done.
left.
Yeah, well, I was 18. It's like you can't force me to stay in it.
You strong arm me into staying in your weird little commune?
Yeah, it was very, like my family, like they had gotten to the point. By the time I left, they were like kind of like, maybe some of this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then a year later, they were out too. So yeah, I mean, but it was a homeschool cult, So we didn't live in a compound with all these other homeschool families.
Yeah.
It was more like an organization where you could, go to conferences, send your kids there if they were being bad. They had their own like weird pseudo paramilitary organization. It was very, very strange. But that was my reality until I was like 18 years old.
That's crazy, dude.
That's why I am the way that I am today.
It's so
like give me a
crazy.
break,
Yeah.
y'all. all the women that have an issue with, my lack of, emotional expression.
Also, why did you get sent to solitary? What was the thing that you did?
Okay, Josh, we don't need to bring that up. Dude. That's irrelevant.
Well, no, that it's not irrelevant.
That's true.
Because it goes exactly of why with the
I was
relationship.
fraternizing with the compound director's daughters. That's
You were
why. Come on, dude. No, I was,
Fingering.
fingering, diddling.
You're sent to solitary confinement for wet willies.
Just for hallway conversations, really.
He knew. He grabbed Davey's hand and smelled
funny.
her finger and was like, "This is my daughter."
Dude,
I know that scent. I know. Jesus. All right.
isn't it like crazy how easy people are to manipulate
Oh,
into like making themselves prisoners?
especially if it's religious in nature.
Yeah. Do you think
Oh, it's crazy.
do you think the Jews did it to themselves?
Okay, dude, come on. Did you just do a sound effect? What sound effect was it? No, that was not endorsed. The air horns were not endorsed. Holy dude, you can't say stuff like that.
What? It's PG-13.
There's like a whole I had to tell her before we started. This is on YouTube. Please don't say anything crazy. Okay, well, what about? It's like a whole thing.
Is this a Patreon episode? I don't know.
No. But anyway, I like the stuff that you went through. I mean, that was like violent trauma that you experienced.
Yeah.
And so, versus my trauma, like I always feel like kind of an imposter.
Why?
When people talk about like, oh, you went through a lot of trauma, because I don't necessarily feel that way.
Right.
Like I felt like I had a pretty normal childhood with some weird on the side.
Yeah.
But people hear about like my experiences and they're just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what the hell, But then I hear
that is
something
crazy.
about like your brother accidentally shooting another child.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and you witnessed this?
I don't know. My brother, I have another younger brother. My brother's like 15 or 16. And then my younger brother says that he's like, I went downstairs and I remember bringing like a towel to like trying to clean up the blood. And I don't know where I blacked out. So I don't know.
You just left.
I don't know if I remember. I don't know if I saw anything.
Well, I mean, that's your brain protecting you, you
Yeah.
know? But I hear stories like that and I'm just like, oh my God, mine was nothing. We did an episode a couple weeks ago with a friend of mine that was sent away to a wilderness camp where they're just out in the wilderness with a few other kids and a couple of camp counselors essentially, and they just have to fend for themselves for months, dude.
Yeah. Right.
Months.
All of them trying to get fingered. So you know what I mean?
Apparently she didn't, which I mean, good for her.
Maybe
you
she
know?
blacked it out.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. Yeah. But I don't know, dude. Like I hear stories like yours and I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense that you're all f***ed up now.
Okay.
Makes sense that you make the kind of jokes that you do that are very problematic and not at all appropriate.
But they're true.
But the great thing about you is you joke about all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't target one group of people with your comedy.
No, I
it's
hate 'em
everyone.
all.
Yeah. Those hands are rated E for everyone, you know? But yeah, I mean, and you've developed like this, I mean, kind of fanatical following online for it.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so she made a post the other day, and me being another comedian, very tongue in cheek, it was like basically like how inappropriate people can be, like when you're, giving them a haircut or washing their hair or whatever in the salon, right?
You were like, I see nothing wrong with
Yeah,
this.
I don't see a problem with any of this. Dude, people came from her profile to mine and start dropping comments on my videos, just like, this guy doesn't have a problem with assault. This guy. It was a joke. She responded to it. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No, what's really funny is that because like my content's all over the place.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll have like more like Like the hair stuff that I post it's more in it. Like it has like a dark. I need to have like an edge to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's
You
gotta be
rage
a
bait.
point. I have to.
You're a rage baiter.
It's so fun.
Dude,
It is
every
so
idea that she has for a sketch, it's just like, we can't do that. Like, you wonder why you're flagged on social media. That's why. She is. I'm not going to spoil the sketch that she wants to do, but I'll just say it involves a George Floyd mural. Yeah. Okay. And it's just like, dude, we can't do that.
I even drove past it to make sure the picture was big enough.
And then she's like, why won't any of my black friends do this sketch with us? I'm like, oh, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no, it's so
insane.
funny in theory, you know. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, so you have this very loyal fan base. I mean, they love you. I've had a couple, and females especially. I think they love how alpha and dominant and just unapologetic you are. But then you've also got some men that I don't know if they're fans or just like obsessed with you or just simping so hard.
Yeah.
Like I can never really tell because you've had stalkers, right?
Yeah.
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 Tell me about the stalkers. Are you able to tell me about the stalkers?
No, I can. Which one do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the one that you're friends with now?
No, dude. I don't want to talk about
friends
him.
with him.
It's not my bro. That's not my guy.
He's like, I talk to him all the time for some reason.
I don't.
Just sitting in this weirdo's house. Like,
Oh, shit. Is it who I think it is?
I honestly don't know which one she's talking about right now. I
the
really
guy
don't.
with the blonde hair. Remember that said he wanted to like bang Laser or whatever? Do you know who I'm talking about? The
I
guy
don't.
that like I posted in my story, he was being a fucking weirdo. So me and Laser were at this bar. We were at Jackalope waiting for Kill Tony. And this guy, he was talking to this guy, and I assumed that they knew each other. And he's like, hey, he's like, he goes, I want you guys to come to this after party. And, like, don't worry, you and I can make out later. And it was like within one sentence. And I was like, fuck. And he kept talking to me. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'll see how I feel after Kill Tony. Probably, I don't know. Message me. So we had each other on Instagram. I didn't hear from him the rest of the night. I didn't care. I was like, and then later on, he was like responding to my stories that night, saying like weird shit. Saying something like I'd come in your walls or whatever. I don't know what the PG-13 version of that is. He was like making a play off of a story that I made, just being like taking a joke and making it. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I took the story down. I was like, ah. And, I don't know. And then he asked me something and I wrote no. And then he said that I was too old to be acting like that. I made a bunch of and then he was like, you're too old to be acting like
Davey.
that. Yeah. You're too old to be acting like that. I just made a bunch of stories about you. And so I sent screenshot to my friend. I was like, can you see this guy made a bunch of stories? And she just wrote back, yup. So then I was like, send me screenshots. So then I took the story and I posted it. And then after that, he said something else. And then I just blocked him. And then I posted the stories that he made I made that story, and then people started responding and started saying like, "Yeah, dude, he's a fucking weirdo." He like,
yeah. Just to clarify, I've never hung out at this guy's house.
yeah, he made out. Yeah, he's gay with him now, dude. I think.
None of that is true. Nothing wrong with making out with other dudes.
Yeah, this is Davey's special coming out episode with my stalker.
No, that is the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But no, I've never hung out with him. He's like come to some of my shows.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, he's come to my shows, and I didn't even realize who he was.
He came in your shows.
Yeah, he tried.
Yeah.
He tried to.
But that's, I mean, that one's weird. Yeah. But that's not someone who's actually like physically come after you. You know what I mean? And I feel like you've had guys like physically come after you. Yeah.
Oh, I can't even. I think. I don't know. There's just so many.
Guys, not to brag, but I have so many stalkers.
Normally, it's never been like physical, but they'll just come and say weird shit in my ear, or they'll just say something very sexual.
You sure that's not just the voices?
You know what? No, I'm not sure. Oh no, my ghosts are trying to.
All your stalkers are just a schizophrenic projection.
What did we say for instead of the special word we could bully the puss or whatever?
Oh, you got bullied with his dick.
Yeah, he bullied me with his dick.
That's all right. That's
Yeah.
our code word, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
I told her one specific word that she could not say, and that's what we came up with
Yeah,
instead.
bullied with his
Still very problematic, but at any rate.
Yeah, but it's hilarious. Makes it fun.
You brought up Kill Tony. How was that experience for you? I mean, I've been on a few times.
You have?
That's the big thing that everyone signs up for. They go through this whole process trying to get on Kill Tony just to have a shot on stage.
Yeah.
What was your experience like with that?
It was I was the last one to get pulled, and I was already like in a bad mood because you know how it is. You're sitting there for 3 hours with a bunch of morons.
It's brutal.
It's brutal, and they're
Yeah.
all just getting fucked up.
And it's only gotten worse. Like as the popularity of Kill Tony grows, the people that you have to hang out with while you're waiting to get hopefully your name pulled out of the bucket, it just gets exponentially worse.
Yeah. Because for the most part, I'd say like 85% of them are new comics.
Yeah.
And so have you ever, when you're like, you remember when you were at like just doing bar shows, but you're still kind of hitting mics and that you have these newer comics that kind of look up to you a little bit.
Yeah.
So then they try and talk to you and then they try to run bits by you and you're like, get the out of my face.
Yeah.
That is Kill Tony. That is Kill Tony, and they're just doing it to each other, and they're just nobody's a person there. They're all trying to run jokes by each other, all getting fucked up and trying to be funny, and none of them are funny. None of them are. There's never been a funny moment at that mic. Oh my god!
You're talking about the open mic after.
Kill Tony is essentially an open mic.
Oh, there have been
Right.
funny comics on Kill
No,
Tony.
I'm saying in Shakespeare's.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I've never
in
had
the
a
waiting
good
room.
time. I've never had a good time there.
Very few, I would say.
Very few.
It's few and far between.
Yeah, the only time I had fun there was when I was visiting, when I came down here for the first time with my friend, and we did Molly Behind the Dumpster when they had it in the alley.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the alley days were pretty cool.
I liked that. And then they had like the little camera crew back there interviewing you,
Yeah.
and it was like people were just getting like drunk in the alley. That was nice. I'm like, this is fun. You couldn't tell who was homeless and who was pursuing their dreams.
People were having seizures. It was a blast.
That was a good time. Heat stroke, all that.
Yeah, that's when Cam Patterson became a regular. But yeah, I mean, it is. I think like the first time it's like, oh, this is cool. Like all these people just hanging out, hoping to get on, the podcast. And then after, a dozen times signing up and going through that process. And I've always said the Kill Tony staff is amazing.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Incredible. The producers, they're fantastic. It's just the other comics that you have to hang out with.
Yeah.
Because 90% of them are arguably special needs.
Yeah, and the dynamic changes because I live here now.
Yeah.
So now it's like there was a part of me that was coming here for 2 months signing up, and then I think like the fourth time I signed up, I got pulled.
Okay.
I was the last one. Let me get back to that.
Okay.
Let's get back to that.
Let's hear about your experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
So I was the last one to get pulled, and we were drinking White Claw Surges.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just at this point. I was like in a bad mood. I was overstimulated. I was like, I'm just gonna get hammered in the street.
Okay.
So, next thing you know, I get pulled, and I thought they were joking because that's happened to me before. Jessica, they called you. I'm like, oh, and so they called my name, and I was like, what the fuck?
I was there when it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was at Poor Choices. That like we weren't in the alley anymore. We'd moved to Poor Choices before it moved to Shakespeare's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. I had a panic attack behind the stage.
Nice.
Behind the curtain. William Montgomery got me water. Like I think it was Val? I think Val was the girl that night.
Okay.
She was really nice to me. And then I went up and I was like, I didn't even see who was on panel.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't look.
You blacked out just like when that dude got murdered. Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
Same thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I blacked out and I just did my minute, and it was. I'm happy with my jokes. My timing was perfect. Like that's like I couldn't have told that joke in a better way.
Okay.
It was like verbatim what I wanted to do. It was just like the interview was good. I just felt tripped up. I felt like they didn't like me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I felt like they didn't like me, and I felt like I would start to say something and then they would like challenge what I had to say, and I'm just like, can I finish what I was saying? But I was just trying to coast to that fucking interview.
Yeah.
because I went in to talk about like this overdose that I had, but I was
Wait, what?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't know if it was because there was a whole story to it.
Okay.
About like that was an interesting thing. So.
Well, I'll let you tell the unabridged story about the overdose after you finish your Kill Tony experience story.
Oh yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
I don't know what else. I got a special book and I got off. So at the end of it, I didn't even like wait for them to like talk to me more. I got the book and I was like, okay. And then I was like, can I go now? And they're like, yep. And I was like, all right. And then I left.
And that was it.
That was it.
Did you get a lot of followers after the fact on social media?
My that was during when my page was so shadow banned where like you had to type in my full name.
Oh no.
For you to even find me.
Have you? Oh, okay. We'll have to talk. We'll have to talk. After the fact.
I'll probably have to post another something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
That sucks because that's the whole thing.
That was the whole thing.
That's the whole reason why you want to get on Kill Tony.
I couldn't collab with anybody. I couldn't. Yeah, I had everything flagged on.
Did you at
my
least
page.
get booked on some shows?
I got
from it?
nothing.
Wow, dude, that sucks.
I got nothing.
That's why you still sign up though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw you there just last week.
I was there last week. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was so fucking hot. It was so hot in there. I felt like I was gonna pass out, and I was like, "Watch, they're gonna pull me," and I'm gonna go. Ugh.
You're just gonna go on stage having a heat stroke.
Yeah, and have a. I thought that was gonna happen.
Okay, so tell me about this overdose thing because I'm a bit of a connoisseur myself.
Yeah.
Overdosed multiple times, not to brag. You may have overdosed.
So here's the thing: is like, so when I was doing drugs, like in my early 20s, I was doing everything, like anything. I didn't do heroin, but like somebody was like,
you missed out.
Yeah. When I tried crack for the first time with this lady that was topless.
Okay, so
and she had a tattoo of a snake that.
Okay,
went
so
around
we're
her
not
breast.
above crack. Like when you talked about the homeless guy offering it to you,
Yeah, but
you made it seem like
that was only twice.
that
was only twice when I did that.
Your Honor, it was only twice.
I did meth on accident, and I've heard people have
We
done
all
meth
have.
on accident.
Yeah, that happens.
And so I was like doing whatever because I just didn't care. But there was like a year-long period where I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't even really drinking. But we had this. But here's the interesting story. So I wasn't doing any drugs at the time, and there was just this new coworker, and she's like, "Can I get a ride home?" I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, I had a 49cc scooter, and I was like 300 and something pounds at the time.
You were?
Yeah, yeah. It was
Wait,
really
you
big.
were doing drugs
Oh, dude, yeah. I did not love myself.
and 300 plus pounds?
Yeah. Yeah.
You were not doing drugs right. I'll tell you that right now. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
no.
Continue.
Yeah, no, the drugs that I was doing was like Dilaudid and shit.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Okay.
I was seeing this guy who was like a pill dealer. So we were doing like Dilaudid, Xanax, clonazepam.
All the downers.
Yeah, we did Percocets and I did DMT
Just
for the first time.
slamming cupcakes and downers.
Yeah, cupcakes and I don't know. K2, that was a big thing I was doing too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Did you smoke that?
I personally did not. I mean, it's pretty much the same as spice and salvia and all that, but yeah, I don't know if I ever specifically did K2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, it's something.
Not to
It's
be
just
confused with
potpourri.
ketamine.
Yeah. No.
But yeah.
Do you like ketamine?
I did it a few times, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I already disassociate. Why do I want to do that?
Josh has some?
No.
Yeah,
Josh
dude.
just waved a plastic baggie in our
Yeah,
face.
dude. The ketamine Colombian.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll do that after the show. Don't
Josh is, you could just, accidentally put that in something that I'm going to eat, Josh, and give me a free lapse on that.
Oh, yeah. You want me to do that to you, though.
It's not that I want you to. I can't say that I want you to.
Yeah.
It's just if you so happen to,
Yeah.
it wouldn't count.
Go get some tater tots. Yeah.
Okay, so you were doing.
So I had this coworker. I was giving her a ride home, and she's like, "Do you want to stop and get a beer?" I was like, "Sure." So we stopped there, and like she started telling me this like crazy shit. Like you ever meet somebody that just trauma dump on you?
Yeah.
So it was that, but she just got into about how her and her boyfriend are looking for a woman to be a third. Like they're like,
nice.
we're looking for a unicorn, blah blah blah.
So
And I was
basically
like,
just Tinder.
yeah.
Yeah.
But she's like my coworker, and she like, it was just insane, and I can't even remember her face, but she was like, I have Xanax if you want Xanax, and I was like, no, I'm good, or something like that. I don't think I took it, but I remember I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I come back, and I was like, all right, let's go. We had one beer, and I took her home. I started feeling like shit. Like I was like really hot. I was like woozy. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I dropped her off. I go home and I tell my boyfriend, like, dude, I don't feel good. And I like lay down and I start seizing.
What?
Yeah. And I was
She dosed your beer.
dude, I was in a seizure state for like a week. And
Whoa, what?
I was in and out of grand mal seizures. Grand mal seizures, I think
Yeah.
that's what they're called.
Uh-huh.
I got dragged for that because I didn't pronounce it right. And I was, yeah, they're like, she's lying. I'm like,
I
I'm
had grandma
not.
Thetos.
Yeah, I can't say that word. You know what I mean? Anyways, so I'm in and out of a seizure state for like a week straight, and they couldn't figure out why. But they
Wow.
found Xanax in my system. I didn't have a prescription for it. I wasn't doing Xanax, like, and I only had that. I had one beer, and I'm like, that was fucking crazy to me. So they found Xanax in there. And my coworker got fired for it. Like they fired her. They're like, yeah, we're trying to get rid of her, and that's a good reason to get rid of her.
Yeah, she dosed her coworker that was giving her a ride home on her scooter.
Yeah.
Crazy. Can't believe both of y'all fit on that scooter. That part's kind of crazy too.
Yeah, dude. When me and my boyfriend gained weight at the same time, and all we had was a 49cc scooter. We fucking got pulled over by the cops because they're like, "You're slowing down traffic."
But you hear it and it's like, "Nee, they must be speeding."
Yeah, we were going 15 miles an hour on a 45.
This tiny scooter fighting for its life.
Oh God, it was
The
so.
scooter called the cops on you?
After that, that's when I was like, all right, like, yeah, that I dropped like 100 pounds, which was nice. But yeah, that was my awakening because I remember looking back and there's just a trail of cars, and I remember this cop car like maneuvered around all of them to come pull us over. He like didn't know how to say it, like, you fat motherfuckers. It's rush hour.
Y'all are both just smacked out on the scooter. That's such a funny picture.
Oh God, yeah, just two fat people on a tiny little scooter, dude. I would get my groceries. I would have grocery bags. Oh my God,
Dude.
I was a shameless person back then.
I think that's potentially more shameful than being homeless living in your car.
I don't think so.
No?
No. What are we doing? Shameful?
Yeah, like you should feel worse about that than you should about.
I wasn't even bringing that in. I don't feel ashamed for living in my car at all. Why do you keep bringing that up?
I don't know.
What's it like having a house, dude? What's it like being housed with fucking probably 3 dogs?
And you could, if you wanted to.
And I just don't want to. When it gets hot out, like consistently, I'll get a house. I'll get out a place.
Oh yeah, you can't sleep in your car when
I'll
it's
sleep outside.
90 degrees at night.
Fulfilling something that no one ever will.
You're just camping. You just camp.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not the same.
It's true. Maybe Josh would let you live in the Comedy Frequency studio.
There's a trailer park off of 35. No, I'm serious. It's very nice. It's very nice.
Okay. Fuck you.
It's a nice trailer park.
Colombians, dude.
Yeah, he's not.
I tried to convince my wife to live in there, and she said no.
What is it? Trin de Araguas?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're not that.
No.
Right? No, okay. Just making sure.
I'm Mexican. No, but yeah.
You're Mexican?
Yeah.
He is.
In Texas? No way.
Incredible.
Remember when we took it? All right.
So, after the overdose experience, did you... you said shortly thereafter is like when you kind of lost the weight and all that. Did you get sober at the same time or?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
I've never felt I felt so good. I was like running every night. I was eating. Well, actually, I was eating like barely. I was barely eating.
Okay.
And then I developed like a gallbladder. Oh, I gained weight after I lost the gallbladder. That was the first time I lost a lot of weight.
Okay.
It was when I lose weight like that drastically, it's never healthy, dude. And it's just like I grew up, like my mom would like give me laxatives when I was like 12 because I was always like an overweight kid, but it happened especially after like the shooting. That's when I like gained weight. I was like, I'm a comfort eater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and your mom would give you laxatives?
Yeah, laxatives. I was on like hydroxycut.
At 12?
Yeah.
That's
and,
when
like,
I had
we'd go
that
to the gym.
ephedra.
It was like things like
Whoa.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were just doing like legal speedballs.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I know how to party.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I developed,
back when parents were good. I'm not going to let my baby get fat.
Yeah. And then I dealt with like a belief like from when I was like 14. Because like I was taking all this shit and I wasn't losing weight, and it was like my mom was like, I remember like catching her on the phone like she has all this weight gain. I remember hearing that, and I'm just like, I'm 14 at the time, So I was like binging and purging because I didn't know how to control the emotional eating. That's when looking back, I'm like, yeah, bitch, put your kid in therapy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it makes so much sense looking back now. It's like, yeah, your kid needed therapy. She has the eating disorder. She has all this trauma from as a kid. And it's just like, looking back, it's so fucking evident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how easy it would have been if you caught it when it mattered. Now
And
it's
then
like,
you didn't get the help you needed until you were 32.
yeah. And I'm still working on it. I still have trouble, like, I still comfort eat and you're never going to, you're going to pry fucking Popeyes from my cold, dead fingers. You know what I mean? But I have a better relationship with it to where I'm like learning. I'm only learning now how to like take care of myself. And I only realized that I was a comfort eater like over the last year.
Really?
Yeah. When I realized like, oh, I'm stressed out. I'm just grabbing a piece of bread and I'm like, you know what I mean?
What's my problem?
Yeah. I'm like, what could it be? I'm like, I don't know. Do I have a thyroid issue? And I'm like just eating nuts as I'm thinking. It's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, when you started doing comedy, what, like 10 years ago?
8.
8 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So before you had ever even thought about dealing with some of the trauma that you went through, you started writing jokes, which is just so wildly unhealthy, but so effective.
Yeah.
I mean, there is nothing like just some vicious trauma to really get the comedic juices flowing.
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason why I have so much issue with people. Like, that's why I make jokes about everything. Gays, blacks, Jews, national disasters, mass murders, every little thing, I'll find something funny about it.
Yeah.
Because you have to look at it like that. Like, people, I think they're so anxious and they're so, like, concerned about what's on the news. I'm like, yeah, who cares? It's like, and I don't know if you're like this, but when people could tell me really fucked up things about themselves, and nothing shocks me.
Yeah.
Nothing shocks me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have this neighbor that told me, she's like, yeah, I'm calling her. I would talk to her every day. She's like, yeah, I just stabbed Chuck. I was like, what? She's like, I stabbed Chuck. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And I later find out, I was like, did you take him to the hospital? She's like, yeah. She goes, she stabbed him in the stomach, and they argued, and they found it hot, and then they went to the hospital.
What the shit?
Yeah.
She seems like my dream girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been stabbed a time or two.
Yeah. I love her.
She stabbed him in the stomach?
She stabbed him in the stomach during they were like two people that were like, they were too similar, but they always set each other off.
Yeah.
So it would get like crazy. I would hear them arguing all the time.
That's insane, though. I mean, like, are we talking full puncture wound type stab situation?
Stitches, I guess. I don't know, dude. And she's telling me this, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, I wasn't like,
dude, Josh, imagine getting a knife in your belly and then just being like, oh, you know what I want to do right now? I'm hard. I mean, that's insane.
yeah.
Wow. Was it like a slow stab? And I'm like,
I mean, if it had
Or
been
is
like
it
a
like-
slice,
Why does
maybe.
that matter?
Just like, well, I
You
mean,
need
it
a little
does.
foreplay
No, it
first?
does. It does. Like a hot knife on the inside of the thigh, that can be kind of fun. You know, like just enough of a slice to draw a little blood.
Yeah.
There's not a problem with that. But if we're talking about, you know,
if she freaks out and starts crying like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she bends down to try to tend the wound. But then she takes down your pants, starts sucking your dick. That's a little hot.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's an interesting
that
one.
does remind me. Like when I was I was aborting on the floor, and then my
Good God.
boyfriend came over and broke up with me, and then we had sex on the floor while I was still bleeding, and I stayed with him for another year after that.
Sounds like love.
I don't even know what to say about that.
I was just trying to relate. I don't know what to.
I just got bullied with a dick. I just understood what that means right now.
He bullied me with his penis.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I not use it? Should I use a code word?
I mean, you could have said schmushmortion, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna pretend this didn't happen in Texas.
No, it didn't happen in Texas.
Oh,
It
okay,
was,
good.
a few years ago.
Good. All right.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I moved from Chicago is he was like a newer comic at the time.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
And you just had to get away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay.
Yeah. I know when I started lunging at him with the car, that was like,
You tried to run him over?
With your house?
oh, no. No, that was a rental.
That's before I was doing good.
I was leasing. I was doing better though.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, now you're past a lot of the drug abuse problems that you had.
Yeah.
You've dealt with some of the trauma. I mean, it's never really ends, does it?
I don't think it does. And I feel like
doesn't.
it's so deep rooted. And here's the thing is like the moment you start healing, other shit starts flooding in.
Yeah.
And I learned that after hitting a fucking one of those pens, dab pens. I hit a dab pen and I just sat there and freaked out and cried in my bed. Then all this stuff started pouring in. I was like, no, dude. It's like finding out you have more
repressed
credit card
memories?
debt. Yeah.
Was it Mike Eaton's
Whoa.
pen?
No.
Okay.
No. It
Does
was,
Mike Eaton have a special pen?
Don't ever smoke his pen.
Okay.
No.
Sorry,
No.
Mike.
It was a very strong like Delta 9. No, it was a gummy. It was a strong Delta 9 gummy, and I've never taken them before that. But I ate one. I was like, yeah, whatever.
That synthetic shit'll get you.
Yeah. It was crazy, dude.
Huh.
So yeah, now I have all this other stuff that I got to take care of.
But a healthy relationship with food again?
For the yeah, honestly,
Okay.
for the most part. Sorry, I started taking that street Ozempic that Mike Eaton takes.
Oh, nice.
And you know what?
Bootleg Ozempic? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Bootleg Ozempic, and it, you know what it does? It turns off the food noise.
Yeah.
Do you know
That's
what
what I've
food
heard.
noise is?
I personally do not, but that is
Okay.
what I've heard from other people.
Yeah, where it's like all it is like you never had like thought of pizza and that's all you thought about and you had to have that pizza. Like if you've ever experienced that,
I
that's what it
experienced that
is.
with like heroin.
Okay.
But never pizza.
Okay, well, no, it's a good analogy.
I mean,
so
it's still an addiction, right? Food
still an
addiction,
addiction.
is just as addictive as
oh
drugs.
yeah, especially since they purposefully put this shit in your food so that you crave it more, so that you eat more of that bad shit. So what that does, all it's done for me, it doesn't like make me feel weird, it doesn't give me energy. All it does is turn off that food noise and it sends off my like the hunger, the fullness cue to my brain. It does it quicker.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It actually helps. It really does help because when I'm not starving or when I'm not trying to grab something just for the sake of it, I have time to think about, okay, that sounds good, but what should I be eating? Because I'm eating less and I want the lesser food that I'm eating to be quality. I don't want to feel like shit the next day and I don't want to get sick.
Well, that's the other thing that it does to you is it like basically shrinks your stomach without shrinking it, right? Because it's just a mental exercise essentially, kind of like you're saying, like
Right.
the food noise. Your brain just doesn't think it's hungry.
Yeah.
And so you can't eat as much anyway.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's pretty cool. Aside from, some of the side effects that I've heard about,
Yeah.
it seems kind of like,
I feel like if you're just
cool deal.
I feel like if you're just doing everything right, I feel like a lot of people when they do eat, I've heard people that they do take it and they're just like, yeah, dude, I could just I'll just eat one shitty meal a day. And it's like, that's the only nutritional value you're getting. Like you're neglecting your organs and everything. So I don't want to do that.
like to get over the eating disorder, was that part of like your therapeutic journey or, okay.
Yeah.
So you specifically went to therapy to deal with the eating disorder stuff.
I dealt with that. I had to deal with the eating disorder, a lot of the childhood trauma, and a lot of it was connected to like I was in this really toxic relationship with a person that I could not get away from. And it wasn't like abusive or anything like that, but it was just I was so toxically attached to this person where it was cyclical and I knew I was causing harm to myself and I was burning a lot of bridges. And I was like in this point of like desperation where like I didn't want to lose the one thing I cared about.
Yeah.
And it was so detrimental to my well-being that like I had to do something. I like took myself to a psych ward and
Oh, wow.
I thought that was going to help and it didn't. I was just there for 7 days.
Yep.
That was fucking crazy. I'm just sitting there and they're like, yeah, the doctor's on vacation. I'm like, what?
So
why am I still here?
Oh, so I just get the grippy socks and that's it?
Yeah, and it was cold as fuck. You had to wear a gown, and like I'm with this girl that was just rocking all the time. Like it was, yeah. Like the one thing that did help was that they had cake every night.
Oh, perfect for you. Yeah.
What's in the cake?
No, dude, it was like legit. Like it was really cool. We would
Valium cupcakes.
honestly, and that is the fat fucking me. Is like the only good thing about staying there was that they had some dope ass food. Like
Nice.
you get to choose in the menu. Like, do you want a chicken?
And it's
sandwich?
free too, right?
Yeah, it's like paid for. That's the benefit of living in a blue state, though. Is like living in a blue state versus a red state. They do have their perks and things like that.
I feel like you could do that in Texas though.
Yeah, but it's like it's different. Like back home, like I could
Watch
stay
me
on.
Baker act Josh right now.
Dude, back home you could stay on food stamps for whatever amount of time. Here
really?
it's like you have a cutoff after 3 months. Like healthcare is cheaper here.
Well, Elon's fixing that, don't you worry.
Right. Healthcare is cheaper here, but back home it's more expensive. But if you're broke or you don't have a job, then you can get on Medicaid and you can get access to that stuff for free. It's kind of like there's no middle ground for anybody really.
Yeah. There's give and take, push and pull.
Right.
Regardless.
So here, like I can get health insurance probably for about $80-$90, and back home it'd be like $400. Because they're paying for, like the state, they pay for everything. Like there's a woman that I knew because in Illinois, abortions are paid for by the state. There's a girl that I knew that had fucking 14 abortions.
What?
14 abortions.
That seems excessive, dude. Okay, Josh, I know you're hitting the air horn button even though I can't hear it. You motherfucker, dude.
Yeah.
It's not an air horn moment, dude.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
the most I've ever heard of. So.
Yeah.
14 is crazy.
That's a lot.
I don't know why I'm laughing right now.
Did you tell her about Plan B?
Or just, I mean, just birth control.
I audibly heard that, and I was like, and she was with a nurse practitioner, and she's like, have you ever had an abortion? She's like, yeah. She's like, how many? She goes, 14, and I go, oh. Like it was audible. Like I wasn't trying to make a noise. I was like, whoa. Like it was a gat. Like I couldn't help it. It was just honest.
What if it was a sexy noise? Like, oh, fuck. Oh, 14. Oh,
you want to make it 15. Yeah, no, that was nuts.
It's so messed up.
That was so bad. But
dude, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I caught a lot of heat after my last Kill Tony appearance, talking about schmorshins. Just because, yeah, smorgasbords. Just because, be more responsible. What's wrong with this guy?
Yeah,
this guy's a piece of shit.
What did you do?
Go. I don't want to talk about it on here.
Okay, let's keep it brief. How many did you pay for?
3.
Are you sure they were pregnant and they weren't just scamming you? Because that's what I would have done.
Okay, so there was one.
Yeah,
there was one that I think I paid for another guy's schmortion.
I love that. What's her name? I love her.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, whoa, no, not cool, not cool at all.
Hilarious. You're out 500.
Did not have my consent for that. But yeah, that maybe.
Yeah.
But worth it still.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
You ever get to shoot inside?
Sure.
You can't put a price on that.
No. It is so good. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So good for you. I mean, that's more responsible.
How many have you had?
Just one.
Just the one? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. It was cool. It was not. It was bad.
I was about to say, wait, what?
No,
well, no, you had
that's me
sex.
deflecting. But yeah, it was awful. It was awful. Mm-hmm. I hated it. Around that time was when I turned like more Republican leaning.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Just because, so you're one of the people that, I mean, do you regret?
Yeah.
Really?
Very much so. There's like a condition that they don't fucking tell you about because these fucking liberals, and I can say that now because I used to be one. These fucking liberals were over here just parading around and bragging, especially when the Roe v. Wade stuff was happening. Then it was like I dealt with this like fucking crippling regret and depression, and I couldn't keep a job. Like I was suffering like mentally so bad. That's when I started seeing a therapist. That's really why I started seeing a therapist because I had trouble had trouble navigating my emotions. I didn't know how I felt. And I thought at first to be a comic, I should just talk about it. So I went up on stage and I remember I would make jokes and people would laugh and it hurt. And it hurt. It hurt that. And I saw these people's faces laughing and smiling as I'm talking about this. And like nobody in that scene asked me like, hey, are you okay? Like, because you don't sound well. And as I'm listening back to like recordings of me telling these jokes, I'm like, what the fuck are people like? It made me resent these people because then they would go up and then you're sitting there at a show or a mic and you're watching comics one after the other making these horrible dog shit fucking abortion jokes, schmortion jokes, one after the other, just bombing, like telling these abortion jokes one after the other. And I hated being in Chicago. I hated being there. And so like I slowed down. I finally like took time off. And at this point I was so mad at the scene. I was mad at like the guy that I was dating because like it just got so messy and I didn't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, you're all pieces of shit and I'm going to treat you as such. And then
your villain arc started.
Yeah, it really did. Then I realized like, man, because then I was burning bridges. People would stop booking me, which only made me angrier. And then towards the end, I started coming back a little more, and I was starting to get booked. Like I got banned at Laugh Factory. Like I just didn't give a shit anymore.
Wow. What'd you get banned for?
They were saying that I was stealing liquor from the bar.
Were you?
No, I was leaning over and trying to like pour myself a drink as a joke, but I wasn't doing that. I was just being like, where's the bartender? All right. And then it went around, and then they banned me from Laugh Factory for that.
Are you unbanned now?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay, that's good.
I think so. Yeah, because I've been back there since. It's like one of the things with the door guy was having a fucking issue, and the bartender. Which, like, if you're a comedy club owner, stop giving so much fucking power to your door guys. It's so embarrassing. You know what I mean? I'm talking about Laugh Factory. You could fill in the blanks with whatever club you're thinking of, but that's what I'm talking about in particular. It's like you have these people that they're not even comics, and you're dealing with people that work their asses off and ban them over something stupid.
Yeah.
But
so
whatever.
I mean, obviously that was like it was a heavy thing for you to go through. Like I know so many women that seemingly, I mean, at least from what they say, don't think about it, don't care about it. It doesn't affect them at all.
Yeah.
Going through an abortion.
Yeah.
But for you, it was
really bad. And the problem is I really had trouble finding people that empathize with it because they were too busy either congratulating me or saying that I should feel not feel proud, but like, you needed to do that at the time. And I'm like, I really didn't need to do that.
like they wanted you to feel empowered about it.
Yes. Yeah. Empowered, proud. Like, you're a woman. It's your choice to do that.
And you were
it's
dealing
like,
with all this guilt.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're telling me how I should feel, right? This is the most invalidating shit I've ever heard in my life.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? You're trying to make me feel proud.
Well, you don't hear these kinds of stories very often.
No,
Jessica.
you don't.
That's
because
not what the narrative is at all.
No, because you're shamed into silence. You're like, it's kind of weird that this whole thing is led by feminists, but the only women that matter is if you agree with them. Any of the ones that oppose anything that they're trying to fight for, you're a Republican, you're this and you're that. I'm like, you're damn sure don't make me fucking care about your cause whatsoever. Because I've heard how you treat women that, do feel bad.
Yeah.
You silence them because they don't agree with you.
I wonder how prevalent that really is.
I think it is. I feel like a lot, and women that I've talked to that have had it have said, I actually did feel guilt. I did feel shame, but they feel like they can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Because that you're taken away from women that actually need it, or they'll conjure up some story about a woman who died because she had a miscarriage and she was getting arrested, or you just see these stray stories in these weird ass states that nobody lives in or whatever, and it's just like that is more important than these potentially thousands of other women that feel this way. But we're being told, brainwashed, especially when you live in a city where everybody thinks the same and nobody, God forbid, you go against the grain, then you're anti this or you're racist or you're whatever. You can't think anything other than what, if you want to fit in, if you want to be part of the crowd, you have to think this way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys are all fucking messed up because that's not how I feel. You all sound crazy.
Well, it's also not the way human emotions work.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's interesting that like, it's almost like an extreme stance that you're taking on it, right?
Yeah.
And that's it's not necessarily, but that's like kind of the narrative that we've been fed, right? Because a lot of women, I say, or I would say that I have interacted with or spoken to, like there's certainly guilt tied to it, but actually regret, like I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah.
I don't hear that as often at all.
And a lot of women do, but because of
And you
who
think
they're
it's
surrounded by.
being forced into silence, essentially.
Yep. And
Wow.
I feel like women invalidate themselves, especially when they feel about how a lot of things are being pushed in a certain direction. Now we got to accept trans rights and all this stuff. And it's like, even trans people will tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very different. You know what I mean? It's not, no, we shouldn't do this, and no, they shouldn't be in sports. And
there's a lot of different opinions on that from trans people that I know personally.
Yeah.
That would say we don't agree with all of this crazy talk.
Yeah.
Essentially, right?
Yeah.
The propaganda. We don't agree with that. I mean, we want to be humans, right? We want our basic rights.
Yeah, give us space. Stop killing us for wanting to be ourselves.
Right.
That's it, and that's completely fair. But
it's all of that shit is so complex, and I'm just glad I don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should worry about it, but I also feel like I don't give a fuck at the same time. You know what I mean? I feel like that's not even an issue, but I see why people do have issues. Because you remember those stories of men dressing as women to get in women's bathrooms to like take pictures underneath the stalls.
Yeah.
Like the fact that that's still there is that's bothersome.
Except now you're brave for doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. But I feel like a lot of women are afraid to like. I feel like as a society, we tend to overcorrect. We overcorrect a lot of what we're. You know what I mean? So you have feminists, so it's like. And abortions, we'll be proud to do it, and I would do it again. And it's like, this is the correct way. And like people would have miscarriages, and people would be like, well, thank God it wasn't a baby. Like, who fucking says that?
Yeah.
Like that's stuff that women have to deal with constantly from these like extremist fucking crazy people that think they're so right that they feel like everybody is on the same page. If you're not, you're the enemy. And that is insane to me.
Well, yeah, you have to fit into this one very specific ideology.
Yeah.
And that's just not
That's
the way
crazy.
it works.
I thought we were free fucking American people. You know what I mean?
Apparently not.
Not this one. Did you check?
What a fun tone to end a podcast on, Jessica. Wow, I'm glad we saved this for the end. I feel like a piece of shit now.
Jessica.
Oh my God. Where can people find you online?
Don't.
Okay. All right. Well, never mind.
Jessica Misitano on Instagram.
Yep.
That's all. The only thing I'm going to give out. Did I tell you about how I, a good way to get out of certain debt is to, I made a fake obituary and I just sent it to the creditors.
What?
Yeah. And it worked.
That worked?
Mm-hmm. I did for a couple of them, yeah. Like the lesser important ones.
Oh my God. And they just forgave the debt?
They don't call me anymore.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So if you
I
want a
mean,
little trick.
you can just wait 7 years too.
Yeah. I didn't want to. I had to get a car.
I was in a hurry. I didn't have that kind of time. So faked my own death.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Awesome life hack there.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay. Well, y'all follow her on social media. You post all kinds of hilarious content, sketches, stand-up clips. We just did a sketch together recently.
Yeah, we did.
We're going to do a few more.
we need a good one.
Yeah, we need to have a real banger, a real viral moment.
Yeah, we do.
And we will. And we won't, have to do any type of race baiting or anything.
Yeah, no, let's go to the George Floyd mural. I want to
Good
show
God. I just... Anyways, we'll see about
What
that,
if-
y'all.
I'm thinking of ideas as we go. Like, how can we make it worse?
Oh my God, dude. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Josh, producer Josh, you have anything that you'd like to plug?
Just come to the Black Rabbit every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off 5th and Brazos in Austin, Texas.
Awesome, dude. Really missed opportunity to say Jessica Misitano is the thing you'd like to plug.
Oh, I apologize.
How dare you, dude?
And you can follow Friends with Davey, obviously on Instagram. You can follow me at Davey Jax. But mostly, just like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. We love you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.